K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we are expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at sales@k98fm.com. The staff of K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network is proud to announce that our very own Rowdy Rick Robinson has been selected as one of the top conservative talk show hosts in the nation for his program America Off the Rails. Again, congratulations to Rowdy Rick Robinson for a job well done and another reason to stay connected to K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network.
Welcome to Voices of Global Freedom Radio. We are broadcasting from San Diego, California, Saturday, January 31st, 2015. This is Roy Backpack Barron and our co-host Yoda. We bring our patriotic, conservative audience news you can use and actionable tactics, methods, and strategies to survive and thrive in these dangerous, troubled times. We are proud to be syndicated with the popular radio networks, the Spark Radio Network, K98 Talk, and we are among Welcome to Voices of Global Freedom Radio. We are broadcasting from San Diego, California, Saturday, January 31st, 2015. This is Roy Backpack Barron and our co-host Yoda. We bring our patriotic, conservative audience news you can use and actionable tactics, methods, and strategies to survive and thrive in these dangerous, troubled times. We are proud to be syndicated with the popular radio networks, the Spark Radio Network, K98 Talk, and we are among the top 5 news picks on Top Talk Radio, along with Sean Hannity, Rush Limbaugh, and other household names. Yoda, how are you doing today?
Live from high atop the magnified view in sunny San Diego, Backpack, it is all good. Speaking of our pleasure and distinct privilege, our guest today out of the Atlanta, Georgia, is one Ken Kaplan. Ken created, founded, thought of, and implemented the fine conservative talk directory. My man. So audience
Hello.
is all excited. I'm dealing with some noise here. Give me 1 second, Backpack, and I'll be right back.
How are you doing, Ken?
Doing great. How are you guys doing?
We're good. So what was some of your background? Let's go start with your what you've been working on.
The background would be just grew up in New York, class of 82, high school, Scarsdale, little suburb, nice little village. And we were always conservative. I mean, our town was really, we were just not really very political growing up. But after high school, I quickly got alerted to the liberal media and caught up to speed with Bob Grant, WABC New York, and Mark Simone, and then Rush hit the scene. And of course, Howard Stern was a local host doing his little shock jock thing, which I got entertainment from. But I really got hooked on radio big time. I even enjoyed listening to the Yankee games better on the radio than TV. I just loved radio, everything about it. So years later, fast forward, in the 90s, after I had my first child 6 years ago at age 45, I wanted to do something to get out of my system. I mean, I played around a little bit with on the sidelines with local radio shows, videotaping them. I just got so into it that I wanted to make a website and kill some time. You know, when I was on a reprieve, when I had my little daughter, so I just thought of the name Top Talk Radio. I figured, what am I going to do with this? So I just put some pictures up, some links, and it just grew out of control. I mean, it just took its own. It became on its own a directory. I didn't even know what I was doing when I was doing it. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's just kind of an honor to, kind of a payback to say thanks to Talk Radio for, you know, a lot of people share their life with Talk Radio. It's like their mistress. Everywhere they go, they have it with them, and it helps people learn a lot of things. Everything from auto mechanics to home and garden to plumbing, electrical, even romance, food, not to mention politics, the best of all. So it grew into what it is today, which is like a face for radio.
What about carpet cleaning, Ken?
Yeah, I started that back in '93, and that's a good way to pay the bills, and I really got into it and kept that steady. I left it for 5 years, but it's dirt blasters, carpet cleaning, and steam cleaning, and you meet a lot of good people. It's a great industry. The growth is unbelievably, there's just no limit to the growth of that. So I'm still doing that, actually.
I was being a little facetious, brother. We are amazed at how you do the fabulous directory and run your own business at the same time. What's the name of your business? What's the name of your business?
Dirt Blasters.
Yeah, you do that. You do that in Atlanta metro area, don't you?
Yes, it's Atlanta metro area. Dirt Blasters Carpet Cleaning.
What's the website?
dirtblasters.com.
All right, dirtblasters.com. We are especially privileged that you're featuring us on the Conservative Talk Radio directory, my brother. We really appreciate it. Backpack, we've got emails coming in. You're killing it, Ken. We've got emails coming in already asking how they reach you at the directory. How do they reach you?
They can use info at toptalkradio.com.
Okay.
And that's it. And that's probably the best one to use.
We are especially privileged that you're putting us on your honorary board. Janorama, founding editor of our sister magazine, themagnifiedview.com, will be our lead in our trifecta. Your lovely directory, themagnifiedview.com magazine, and of course, the show we're on, voicesofglobalfreedom.com. Over to you, Backpack.
So we're excited to be working with you, and as a strategic alliance that we have with you, also a brand new website that we're introducing on the show today called terrorcamps.com, where when people go there, they're going to see the crosshairs all across the United States from sea to shining sea, and you're going to really identify that they really are in everybody's neighborhood, everybody's back door. They tend to be in the rural areas. But one of the big questions, emails we just got that came up is their corporate headquarters. It's called Muslims of America, which is the same Muslim Brotherhood. The terror organization started in 1928 that's run rampant through the Arab Spring. And their corporate headquarters is in Islamburg, New York, which is in the Catskills, right next to the water supply that feeds a vast majority of New York. And they have a 70-acre compound. And I guess one of the questions is, why do they need all that land? And so, Ken, what are you're from New York originally. What are your thoughts about this big compound and being so close to the water supply?
Well, it's all strategic. Just like the Nazis built those death camps near the railroad tracks, they want the water for longevity. In case of they have to go hunker down in the bunker and sustain life, and water is the key, and they know it. And I mean, we're stupid. They're not stupid. We're stupid because we just don't push against our own government hard enough to destroy PC, because it's going to destroy us. I mean, if if we just had somebody else like from the past come to Winston Churchill, anybody, Reagan, we just need somebody that people will listen to when they speak and form words, eloquently enough to really strike pull their heartstrings, because this is going to kill us. This PC stuff is crap, and it's going to catch up to us. And it's because of that they are even allowed to have those camps. It's bad enough we have a president that won't even utter the words Islamic terrorism or a bunch of other words he should be saying. He's not. And just allowing this to happen is such an insult and an act of traitorism, in my view.
What are some of the ways that you seem politically correct used to really hurt the national security for the United States of America?
What were some of the ways? Can you repeat that?
Give some examples of how politically correct is actually hurting the security of the United States of America.
Examples would be, number one, not being able to call a terrorist. Not, these killings, Fort Hood and all this, it's being called workplace violence. If they don't ever call it what it is, terrorism, Islamic-based terrorism. And because they're not calling it that, the dumb masses, the sheep, they don't understand the dangers we're facing in the cult of being a Muslim, Muslimhood. And we can't identify the enemy. If they don't permit us to identify them, put a label on them, and we're not going to fight them. It's like saying, these people are murdering people over here, and it's illegal and it's murder, but we're not going to put a label on it because it's just isolated incidents. It's just blah blah blah. How are we supposed to fight that if we don't we should have a uniformed army that does nothing but seek out these radical Islamist maniacs and murder them everywhere they go. They should have an international permit or license to destroy these people on the spot. And they should be uniformed. And it should be a world army to fight these people. So they're on the hunt. They're on the run. We're not, we shouldn't be on this other end being afraid to speak our mind or write a comic strip or something. It's not right. That's how it's dangerous, because we're never going to be able to fight it back. They're not going to give us the ammunition to fight it back or the will, because they're just playing with words, political correct words.
Well said, Ken. You said it. It is a global movement. In the past 5 years, Al-Qaeda, which means the base in English, has expanded 4 times that it was 5 years ago. It is indeed a global jihad looking for a caliphate, looking for global dominance movement. It exists from Indonesia to Saudi Arabia. How about letting 5 command-level Taliban loose for one deserter, Ken? How'd that work out? You might have heard this week that one of their commanders, the United States, no such agency, NSA, did an intercept picking up this guy in telephonic communication from Qatar, talking with terrorists, of course. May 31 of this year, they're out of there again to assassinate Americans. What the hell is our President Obama-nation up to, Ken? What's your opinion of this?
I don't think many of us really understand what his plan really is. His ultimate goal is to definitely destroy us and reshape us into some sort of socialist, globally unified society, whatever the heck that means. I mean, he doesn't want us to be the world superpower. We're built on guilt in his mind. He hates us. He hates what we've come from, which is slavery. He can't get over this slavery empire that's existing because of his ancestors in his mind, in his twisted mind. And he sees things like all liberals do, kind of through a prism of fantasy, platitudes. He sees things stubbornly the way he wants them to see them. And he refuses, he's in denial. He just doesn't accept the way it really is. Reality is not what he wants it to be. He makes it his own reality. So, and what's really interesting to me is these terrorists, they're so brazen. I mean, they do this stuff in Japan and Syria, all over the place, France, Spain. It's like, wouldn't you think they wouldn't want to tick off too many countries at one time? But no, they are. And they know, because they know propaganda is working on their side. and this political correctness crap is on their side. And it's like, as long as PC exists, they're going to do this all over the world and tick off everybody, and nothing's going to happen. They just don't care.
Well said, Ken. For the benefit of the audience you brought over to Voices of Global Freedom, we thank you. You've lit up our emails now, and we're coming on with a chat room pretty soon. I'll let Roy address that. But, as you know, we have been in the counter-terrorist business since 1974 at the Munich Olympic Massacre. So we've grown up in the hot spots. We're active today through an arm of the magnifiedview.com, working with U.S. and allied major letter intel and law enforcement organizations and agencies. We have private sources, secret sources, whistleblowers, second to none. Hell, we've got sons and grandsons of counter-terrorists that we fought with way back when, so everyone is puzzled, picking one of your words, that the abomination can be this brazen. Look at Benghazi. Look at the IRS. Look at too many scandals to mention. Look at his gun control push. It doesn't seem like he gives a damn, does it? And that causes me to wonder why. What's an agenda we don't know about, perhaps? What's maybe in the offing that causes him not to give a damn, Ken?
I think it's just his end game and goal might be I'm surprised he's not dictator by now. I mean, before he was elected, I swear to God, I saw a dictator in this guy's eyes. I mean, he wanted power so bad. And just the words that came out of his mouth were just the words of a traitor, somebody who just does not like this country. So whatever hurts America, it's like he actually gets a kick out of it because he's got the PR, the media to twist the truth for him. So literally, it's like you can do anything you want to do. There's no ceiling on you could kill somebody. Obama could order a terrific thing to happen that's horrible, a terrifically horrible thing to happen, and he'll get away with it. So if you have this media that's going to rewrite current events in your favor every time, the sky's the limit. So it doesn't matter what happens, how bad things get. It doesn't matter. He'll get away with everything. He's gotten away with every single thing he's done wrong. Every law he's broken, every person has died because of him. There's not a single thing he's been responsible for or made to admit he's done. Nothing. He admits nothing. He lies 99% of the time he opens his mouth. And he's never culpable for anything.
I was privy to a conversation between founding editor-in-chief John Arama of the Magnified View and Backpack here, where John Arama, editor-in-chief, predicted the general officers out of the Pentagon would finally come out absolutely condemning him for what he's doing. That happened last week. The recently retired head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, that's kind of like a military attitude CIA. General Flynn, a lieutenant general, came out absolutely condemning what the President of the United States is doing. Hagel, Secretary of Defense, is doing likewise. So we're taking some encouragement that these high-level guys are coming out now, Ken.
Well, this is good news. I mean, he's got 700 and some odd days left to complete his destruction, and he's still continuing to try that with the turning down of the pipeline. He just, I don't know what kind of country he's trying to. The thing is, I don't know what he's trying to do. I don't think anyone really understands what the heck it is this guy really wants us to look like after he's done with us.
I dare to say, Ken, a caliphate, meaning total control under Sharia law of the world, starting here. We're the great Satan, of course. Last caliphate was 1925, the Ottoman Empire in Turkey. And now ISIS, as you know, is approaching a caliphate in northern Syria and Iraq. We've allowed them to grow from nothing, an offshoot of a couple Al-Qaeda organizations, to what they are today in a few months. They're occupying more than half of Iraq, which we caused, and they're somewhere between a serious army of 30 and 50,000 men. So they are, in fact, what are we going to do with these emails? You've lit up the board, so to speak. Here, Ken, we're getting emails far and wide. Happy you're on. We are, too, asking questions. What are they talking about, Backpack?
Well, we're going to go to a short break, and we'll be back with Ken Kaplan, TalkRadio.com. Impact.
Anybody out there that has 1,000 emails in their database, look to impactanalytics.com. Impactanalytics.com. It's a Florida-based company. If you have 1,000 emails, write to Tim Kalin, Chief Executive Officer of impactanalytics.com. Tim is a close personal friend of ours. I work with Tim in Beirut, the one in Lebanon, after the embassy bombing and following the Marine barracks bombing. Tim runs Impact Analytics, a conservative consortium. He takes email lists from people like you and us. This allows him to command Fortune 100 advertisers. Then at the end of the month, fast forwarding here, Backpack, at the end of the month, Tim will send you a check that's cashable at your bank. So, audience out there, please, with 1,000 emails or more in your list, contact Tim Kalin, Impact Analytics in Florida. I thank you.
We're back here with Ken Kaplan, TalkRadio.com. Our topic today is about all the Islamic terror camps running rampant in the U.S. We're getting reports that the FBI and Department of Homeland Security is aware of these terrorist training camps in the United States, but President Barack Hussein Obama is doing nothing to address the immediate threat they pose. Federal law enforcement described these locations as communal living. Communal living is a politically correct term for a sleeper cell or a terrorist camp or terrorist cell. So what are your thoughts about this communal living? And we were talking about politically correct before, Ken.
Yeah, that's a great example right there, for God's sake. They can't call a spade a spade. You know, there's one thing I wanted to ask you and Yoda, though. How would World War II have ended up if we were politically correct zombies like we are today? We probably never would have entered the war. Russia would have taken over all of Europe, probably, and China would be gone, probably. I mean, it's just right now. I'm thinking they're going to leave Russia alone because I've heard, they're kind of aligning with Putin. So imagine that, ISIS and Putin together as a force against us, and then we're politically correct, so we'll tie our own hands. It seems to me like a winning plan on their behalf. Pretty feasible.
A bit of nostalgia, Ken. As you know, your father and I earned occupation medals for occupying Germany in 1954. Are we old and arcane and ancient or what?
That's awesome. You talked to my dad, and I'm so happy you did that.
Oh, so am I. It's nostalgia for us. I work with the German police, live with them for a year in Mannheim, in the middle of Germany, and it's exactly as you said. Also, there was a lot of objection throughout the United States of our entering the war. Roosevelt, his good or bad points, did a hell of a job getting us into the war. There was an infamous event at Madison Square Garden, New York, that I would hope the audience might look up. It was full of swastikas. It was full of brown Nazi shirts. People like Lindbergh, the aviator. People like Eaton from Eaton Axel and others were on stage promoting how wonderful Hitler was and what great ideas he had. So there was enormous resistance. Yeah, it was depression all over. It was the Great Depression here, and even more so in Germany, if that could be. So my hat's off to Roosevelt and his Lend-Lease program, getting around our helping England.
Amen.
But I see a lot of parallel to now. 50 million people are on food stamps, as you know, at this time. It's nothing like the President of the United States painted in his last ridiculous State of the Union address where it was all kumbaya. Everybody I talk to worried about their job, or one of the couples out of work, trying to backpack. What do you run into out there?
Well, we're hearing reports that 90 million out of 330 million Americans are unemployed. And as I've traveled the country, it'll be 4 years in April, I've seen where people are living, a lot of veterans, unfortunately, too, are just homeless, and they're living under bridges or living, just really sad type of living. And so that's what we're seeing. This is a new America. If you were to take a train ride across America in the 1950s versus 2015, you're going to see a different face of America.
That was quite educational, Ken, for your dad and I. He was a few miles down the road near Munich. He was a military cop as I was, and it wasn't all that long after World War II. Still had bombed-out buildings. The German cops we work with, of course, had been in the German army, fighting Russia and fighting the United States. So we see a lot of parallel to these times. We see a lot of parallel to what's going on with Al-Qaeda, with ISIS. We really do. We are not conspiracy people, as you know, Ken. We loathe and abhor conspiracies. That really helps. It helps the bad guys. So.
Well, it's a waste, a terrible waste.
Yeah. What in the hell he's really up to is what bothers me. What do you got on announce our chat room, would you, back there?
We do have a new chat room that's up and going right now. If people go to globalfreedomradio.com, and there's a link on the top for chat room, and we'll keep abreast of all the new upcoming shows, and gives people an opportunity to speak their mind, ask questions, and make comments. And along those lines, we have a guest call-in number, 646-652-4667. We welcome calls and getting people's opinions, and been really active on social media. My handle on there is called My Human Compass, with 42,000 people following, and really getting a lot of interesting people and a lot of comments. And it's a great way, and that's social media is the 2015 way to really get a lot of things off people's minds and really speak their minds and direct policy. I want to announce that recently there's a major town called Sweeney, Texas, where they are turning to Sharia law. And I just recently on social media sent an email to the newly elected governor who swore an oath to the Constitution of the United States of America. He was just elected, replacing Rick Perry in Texas. I'm recommending that Texas be one of the many states to declare we're going to be no Sharia. That it's not going to be allowed in the state of Texas. So I've gone through with that, and we'll see where that goes. Let's get more traction on that as the days go by, to get more governors to speak up and say no to Sharia. We're not going to allow that in our state. So we've got the groundwork where we're going with terrorcamps.com, and magnifiedview.com will be coming out with a new article exposing a lot of what's going on with these Islamic camps. Yoda, what do you see as far as the article?
I think it's really clever on the enemy's part, Ken. Here's why. Throughout Europe, as we learned recently, a bunch of Paris suburbs, Holland, England, and elsewhere, They have no-go zones where they're enforcing Sharia law. In Paris suburbs, police aren't allowed in there, firefighters, EMTs, nobody. The women are all dressed in their body bags, and it's strict Sharia law. I think they're more clever here. Well, they are with your and Backpack's disclosure, your revelation of all these compounds. They're in remote areas. There's no eyes on them. Nobody's reporting on it, except soon will be the magnifiedview.com. It's really clever. There are firing ranges on all of these compounds, or call them whatever you want to call them. They're terrorist camps. They're mosques. They're highly hardened and secured. So eyes aren't on them now. People are totally unaware of them. You guys, you and Backpack, carries your load, did a hell of a job. We're going to run this as a series, aren't we, Backpack?
Yes, we will. And everybody check out magnifiedview.com and terrorcamps.com as it grows. We've identified some of the major ones, but we still have, they're saying at least 35 identified that are easily found, but there's probably a lot more sleeper cells that we don't know about. And Yoda, what are some ways that people can know about sleeper cells?
Well, Ken, thank you once more for bringing over your audience. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, guys. Honor.
We're in the counter-terrorist, but we're three things, really. We're a magazine, part of a professional PR firm. We're this radio program. Fortunately, we are on Conservative Talk Directory, owned and operated by Ken. And we work on the street with federal agencies. So in that counter-terrorist role, there are mosques growing up all over the United States. There are little mosques in apartment and houses. There are mosques in stores, in the back room of stores. There are absolutely covert secret mosques in houses and apartments, where every Friday night, the cadre, the core of these mosques, typically young men, 18 to 30, whatever, with their beards, are planning jihad here. They have sent approximately 1,000 guys to ISIS to fight against us in Iraq and northern Syria right now. They're raised among us in secret. They pretend to be moderate, tolerant, like all of the presidents of the United States who sold us. You cannot be a moderate Muslim by our standards because it doesn't work that way. You must support a caliphate, period. That's 1/4 of the world's population is Muslim, but I say again, must support converting or killing infidels. That would be Ken and Backpack and I. Go, Ken.
That's crazy. I mean, where is the outrage? Look what happened. 9/11, we were borderline un-PC. You know, I remember it was like, you know what? I'm going to look at you funny. I'm sorry if you fit the profile. I'm going to look at you twice now. And I felt proud about doing that. Like, I can finally do what we're supposed to do. And then a few years pass, and here we are all these years later, and no one even cares about 9/11. I mean, how the hell do we permit these terror camps to exist? Look what they just did in New York City, 2001, on a beautiful morning. Dare them, these sneaky little bastards following the Hudson River, and that's all I had to do is learn to fly, not to land, and take all these lives and destroy our beautiful buildings and people's lives. How the hell, just 15 years later, whatever it's been, allow for terror camps? Are you kidding me? If this happened after 9/11, there would be a big uproar. But no, people, they get complacent. They don't care. It's too long ago. Oh, you know what? World War II wasn't that long ago. I bet you there's still some plumes of smoke somewhere left over in the air, in the atomic, atmosphere there somewhere. I mean, this is just insane. We allow this to happen. How dare them do this to us? And how dare the cowardice of the people of this country that aren't fighting back with a radio show like you've got or a website like you've got, terrorcamps.com. You're the only one I've known who's done anything about it. I mean, you got a website about it. I mean, bravo. I mean, amen to that. How come that everyone else wants to get one like that and do? I just can't believe people today. I'm so ashamed of this. I'm ashamed of the world for I feel bad. I feel like I don't even look in the eyes of a World War II vet or a Vietnam vet. I'm sorry. I say to these guys, I'm sorry you fought and died and risked your life and lost your limbs for this country to end up this pinko, commie, liberal, crappy country. You did this sacrifice for this crap. I'm sorry it had to be like this way. I'm ashamed. I am so ashamed.
Here's a question for you. I'm going to paraphrase it. It's from I think a lady in near Baltimore, Maryland. She wants to know your thoughts about how the abomination can pretend that he's got Al-Qaeda on the run and ISIS doesn't exist. I'm paraphrasing. And you can drop a couple bombs on ISIS a day and it's all going to work. She wants to know what's operative, what you think is really going on.
Well, I think what's really going on is he has an agreement, and like he did with Putin, saying, hey, don't worry about it. When I'm reelected, I'll have more freedom to do more stuff. He, nod, wink, wink. He says, look, don't be surprised if we have to take out some of your guys once in a while. I can't look like I'm on your side. They'll say, oh, of course, we understand. Of course, do what you got to do. I mean, make it look realistic. I mean, bomb us once in a while, but let us know. And, that sort of, it's an agreement. It's a under the table, side door, private room agreement, third party, so he's not connected to it, that once in a while, we got to make this thing look real now. Come on. Like after we, cracked the German code, Enigma, we had to, we knew every movement so well that we had to actually make mistakes to make it look like we didn't know what the hell we were doing so that we wouldn't give away the fact that we knew their code. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just strategy, just basic strategy. That's what's going on with those bombings. To make it look like he's doing something. He doesn't want to look too suspicious.
Yeah, with the last disclosure of the 5 Taliban we released, Oh, here's another one, Roy. What's it say about his closing Gitmo? That's from Maryland. Another Maryland, it looks like, Roy. What's he saying?
Well, he's been in the process of closing Gitmo, and we're hearing there's 4 5-star general status equivalent to U.S. 5-star generals they've been into Qatar recently, and they're back doing their terrorist stuff. And instead of them getting the death penalty, which they should have gotten, they're just released back to these other countries, and so they go right back to their terrorist stuff. It makes no sense.
Now, Roy,
what do you think about that?
Post a tweet. Well, you tweeted that, and I saw that, and I think you said something like, shouldn't he be responsible for any kind of disaster that they cause? And yes, he should. I mean, just like an alcoholic is given too many martinis at a bar, sometimes the establishment has to pay the damages of what happens after, the consequences. He is responsible for that. Anything that exactly. That's a terrible deal.
Right. He should be held fully accountable for anything these 4-star, 5-star generals do in their future. What are your thoughts, Yoda?
Ken, here's one from a gal, 32. She has tickets to the Super Bowl. She's in Glendale, Arizona. She wants to know your marital status.
Oh, wow. I'm married.
Yeah.
Yep, I've got the, the 3 rings of marriage, courting, wedding, and suffering. I'm like in the 3rd stage, I think, right now.
All right. I'll bet she heard you anyway. We've got to get you back pretty quick, Ken. Tell his audience and ours our stunning lineup, will you, Roy?
Well, we're excited. We have a guy who was able to sneak into the North Korea, believe it or not. And it was just a miracle. It had it stamped on his passport that he was a journalist, but they never found out because it was in German. So we're excited to have Ben Mack coming up next Saturday. And we'll be having so many other amazing guests. We've got one of the most heavily awarded street coppers in the nation, 33 years on the beat. And we're going to be talking more about what happened in Ferguson and the division We've got Dunker Hunter, Colonel Alan West, and so many others that we've got coming on. We're looking at Charlie Strange as well, and what happened with the abomination and Charlie Strange. Yoda, would you like to talk more about that situation?
Yeah, our investigative arm, our team is made up of seasoned operators with advanced academic credentials. They're multilingual. Their specialties are from military intelligence, special operations. Part of our investigative team, we're taking a hard look now at Extortion 17. That was the operation in Afghanistan where 30 American special operations people, 22 SEALs, were shot out of the sky in an absurd response in Afghanistan. Charlie Strange is the spokesman for this group of 30 wives, children, families of the KIA, the Killed in Action Spec Op troopers. He's the spokesman for that group. It is under incredibly suspicious circumstances, the whole thing. Charlie, personal friend, has an attorney, Clayman Esquire from California, activist, is currently successfully suing the Vice President Biden, the NSA of others. They actually took over Charlie's computer and cell phone without his knowledge. He's proven this now forensically, that NSA took over his computer and cell phone. Hell, they were taking pictures with it that he didn't know about. So we and Charlie are really close. We'll be having him on. Fabulous guy. For Ken's benefit, he was at Dover, Delaware at the Air Force Base with the President of the United States, who dared tell Charlie that he, the President, would tell Charlie about his son, Michael Strange, a SEAL. Charlie grabbed the President of the United States by the shoulder, told him he didn't need to know about his son. He wanted to know what the hell happened to his son. So we'll really fond of Charlie. What a hero he is in his own right, as is his delightful wife, Mary. We'll be having them on. So you've given us a great boost, Ken, honoring us with including us in top news picks on your wonderful conservative directory. And we are, well, it's ours, bro, really, isn't it, right?
Yeah, it's our great honor. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with Ken Kaplan, TopTalkRadio.com. This is Backpack. We want to tell you about a brave American hero, Brigadier General Ernest C. Audino, U.S. Army, retired. Currently serves as Senior Advisor to the Kurdistan National Assembly of Syria. He also serves as Senior Vice President of Radon Corporation. Please go check out generalaudino.wordpress.com. Again, general and then AUDINO.wordpress.com. Yoda, are we privileged to be working with General Audino?
My word, we are. Audience, the good general embedded with the Kurds who have just kicked ISIS's ass. They're the only one doing it. He, with a small team, was embedded with them, decorated in combat in northern Iraq and in Syria. He is the real deal. He lived with the Kurds, fighting the bad guys, ISIS. He lived with them, worked with them, slept with them, and ate with them. So there are 4,700 general officers retired in the United States, and the good general is one of the top 10. We salute General Ernie Audino.
All right, we're back here with Ken Kaplan, TopTalkRadio.com. One of the things that's come up as we've been investigating the Muslims of America, which is the same as Muslim Brotherhood. They're also the same as the Council on American Islamic Relations, which is also known as CARE, which also is a terrorist group. They're trying to be played off as a real, authentic 501c3, but as we know, that's really a terrorist group that Obama is supporting. And we're hearing reports that at least eight high-level people are part of CARE, Muslim Brotherhood, within the United States organizations and the structure of how, and then there's Valerie Jarrett and all of that. What are your thoughts, Ken, and then we'll go to Yoda, about all these high-level Muslim America, Muslim Brotherhood, CARE people that are connected to the terrorist groups? What are your thoughts, Ken? Oh, we got Ken. Okay, well, let's see. All right, Ken, what are your thoughts on that?
It's the same thing. It's PC. Again, they're not going to call a spade a spade. It is allowed to operate because there's no such word as Islamic terrorism. It doesn't exist. These are isolated incidents. These are just groups. And it's going to continue on until we have a new president, basically.
You can't.
It's just going to be allowed.
You can't be a Muslim with a small m. Go to the magnified audience, please. Look at an article downrange on the magnifiedview.com. The headline is Cultures Clash and Civilizations Crash. Throughout the Quran, it explains you cannot be a moderate, tolerant, peaceful Muslim. That's just the way it is. Yet the past 5 presidents have sold us the moderate, peaceful, tolerant. Upwards of 1,000 of them have now left the United States with U.S. passports, fighting with ISIS. I don't know. I'm concerned with an agenda. Talk about transforming America. I'm concerned with an agenda that allows Obama to be this brazen. As Ken said earlier, Backpack, it's just in your face, up front, the hell with, that he's doing. So I'm concerned that he has agenda, something forthcoming that none of us know about. What do you think, Ken?
Yeah, Ken, Ken, what are your thoughts on that?
I agree. I mean, his ultimate goal is destruction, but to refit us under the Islamic flag. I mean, basically, that's very logical. He's kept our, the CARE group and the Muslim Brotherhood. These are terror camps too, and CNN just hired a former Al Jazeera news reporter. I mean, it's just, what is it? I mean, it's like PC is also, if you're a white guy, oh, I like blacks. It's like, you don't have to go around saying you like blacks. Don't feel like you have to say that. You know you do. You know you're not a racist. It's the same thing. It's like, we're not afraid of Muslims. Look, we're going to hire one from Al Jazeera. Look at this. Look at us. We're embracing everybody and everything. It's kumbaya. It's deadly. What are they doing? Stop trying to please the crowd. We don't care if the world hates us. I went to Spain as a kid in the 70s, and there's some girls from Britain hanging around in Alicante, Playa de San Juan, at a place called Chotis, a little pool, a little swimming pool and a bar and a restaurant. And they said, you people in America think you're so great. And I'm like, what do you mean? You took the Beatles, you took this. I'm like, we didn't take your. What are you talking about? We think we're so. I tasted hatred for this country as a teenager, and I couldn't believe it. And after that, everyone is so darn jealous, and they hate us so much, but they come here anyway. So don't come here. Go away, and don't reshape your little towns and villages under your flag and customs like they do here. The Mexicans do it. They ignore our. And I can go on and on. I mean, you know what's going on. F the world. If they don't like us, go away. We don't care. And that's what it's about. They're trying to prove how, and they just want to embrace everybody and everything's great. That's what it's about.
Glad you brought that up, Ken. I grew up partly in Italy, northern Italy, and I spent more than half of my life operationally overseas, a lot of that in Europe. I remember 8 years old in Milano at the Grand Opera, being assaulted with jealous people back then. They're really jealous of the United States, no question about it. Yet they all want to come here. Look at the Central American invasion. As our Voices of Global Freedom audience knows, we're on the street here with federal law enforcement agencies and some larger municipalities. We deal with a lot of illegals who will brazenly tell you in your face that they want to turn San Diego into Tijuana North without apology. This is what they will tell you that. At some point then you ask them, why the hell are you here then? Why don't you live in the other? Well, it's because of the money. Mexico's second largest source of revenue now is money sent from here back to Mexico. Yet nothing is ever done, in fact, about the border, as you well know. Nothing. Border Patrol are heroes, and I really mean that. Men and women of the Border Patrol hands have been tied totally for the past year. So, well, back to what you said, which I'm underlining and italicized, yeah. They're all jealous, but many, this of course features Muslims, and Latinos don't want to assimilate here. Muslims aren't allowed to. They're actually strictly forbidden from having infidel friends. The Quran is available on the internet. The Hadith, which is Muhammad's writings, are available on the internet. This is what they follow all day long. It takes over every molecule of Muslims' being in every millisecond of their life, Ken. So there we are. Backpack.
We want to encourage our listeners to go back and check some of the archive shows that really have it lighted up the board with enthusiasm. We've recently had IQ Razuli, which is a pen name, where he talked brilliantly about so many different things about what's happening with Islam, and he's got $1 million bet with CARE, as we mentioned before, that has gone unanswered. They just can't to really prove that Islam is really a cult. It's not a religion. And also Captain Marshall Frank, who brought out so many of the people who end up in prison end up getting converted for privileges to Islam. And that's getting back to our major topic today, is that there's a huge number of people who are hardened criminals who end up in these, what the politically correct word is communal living, but they're really called terror camps and terror cells. So some of these anywhere from 25 to 300 acres, all across from sea to shining sea, is these terror camps or sleeper cells, or if you want to call it communal living, it's all the same thing. So these are hardened criminals that are living there because they really have no other place, but they're brought from the prisons when they get out, and they go to these terror cells. And we're excited to have Captain Marshall Frank and Frank Salvato and many others that we've talked to back on the show and future shows this upcoming year. So, Ken, what are your thoughts about these? They go to prison, they get converted to Islam, and they get extra privileges that other inmates don't because they're becoming Islamists in prison, and then they go to these terror camps all around the United States. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a brilliant plan to take the young and vulnerable and give them all these bonuses for what they're. And in New York State, I know it's basically 99% of the black prison population that are ending up becoming basically traitors and betraying their own country. And it's really sad. I mean, these people can be rehabilitated. I mean, they're just young and dumb. I mean, in the old days, maybe they'd be drafted or something, or be sent to the army, and maybe now it's the enemy's army they're going to, and we're letting it fester and basically just spread like cancer. I mean, this is a cancerous cult, and it's gonna, boy, there's no end to it. I mean, there's just no end to this.
Our high-level sources, and they are, see it in every probability that there's at least 1,000 English-speaking as a mother language people on passports, U.S. and European passports. They're one flight away from the United States port of entry. They don't need visas. There's no process. They leave ISIS. They're desensitized. they can now cut people's heads off. They're trained in bomb making, they're trained in small arms and small unit urban tactics. So our private sources who know what the hell they're doing see every probability that they will come here and commit terrorist acts here. We analyze it every day, and we see this in the offing in the next 3 months. I would love to be wrong with this, and we'll advertise that we were wrong with this. We're putting it up in the magnified view to warn people that it's coming. Scenarios are a simultaneous attack on 6 American cities, like Miami, New York, D.C., Chicago, Vegas, and Los Angeles. Possibly a so-called dirty bomb included in that. Probably the Big Bang. Al-Qaeda, which has grown 4 times its size in the past 5 years, loves the Big Bang. As you guys know, terrorism exists to terrorize, said, what's his name? Anyway, they do it for the publicity. This is why they cut off people's heads and whatnot, because the symbiotic media falls into this publicizing them. This allows them to get more recruits. They appear bigger than they are. It allows them to get funding. So our stunning sources see that coming. They also see terrorist acts, 2, 3, 4-man teams with big bangs and automatic machine guns, shooting up transportation hubs back to the old airlines, and soft targets. These are so-called schools, shopping centers, theaters, like that. So that appears to be coming in the next 2 or 3 months. Say the real counter-terrorists that are smarter than we are and have a lot better information. Ken, what's your intuition with that?
I think I agree 100%. I think they're thinking we're not thinking about planes anymore. I am. I'm thinking about the Sears Towers. I'm thinking we are thinking that you're thinking we're not thinking this, and they're gonna go forward with some sort of dry. According to your website, they've already done several dry runs and gotten away with them all, and there's just no stopping these maniacs. Basically, it's like picture yourself living in a town, and all the town talks about is all this cancer coming in everybody's bodies from. And they never talk about what it's from. Well, maybe it's from the smokestacks that are out of control. I'm just using this for an example. I'm not anti-factory at all. But it's like nobody ever mentions the cause. You know, the cause being, the analogy is our media. We wouldn't even be talking about this stuff. There would be no terror camps. There would be nothing like this. They'd be like, you know, a deer in the crosshair of everybody if the media would just stop what they're doing. They're causing this. They're creating this entire situation. And if we could just fix the media, somehow make them accountable for what they're doing, abusing their power on the world stage, propagandizing people, brainwashing people. So we have to be nice to these murderers. And that's the whole thing. If we can fix the media, we would not have the need for this. For any show like this or any topic, we shouldn't have to be in a situation. We just dance around the point. We dance around it. It's the media's fault, the mainstream media.
The mainstream media has not covered that the Taliban 5, this guy through an intercept, was communicating with terrorists out of Qatar. ABC, NBC, BS, all of them, other than Fox, has not covered what went on with this. Isn't that incredible?
Well, yeah, it's incredible.
Backpack, sorry, we've got a bunch of emails asking that we keep Ken on for the last half hour. Ken, normally we work guests like you to death for an hour, then we carry the show for the last half hour, but there's 7 requests in front of me that we keep you on for the last half hour. Will you stay with us, Ken?
God, I'm so flattered. Absolutely.
No, it's what it is, brother. So we'd appreciate your staying on with us, Ken.
Sure.
Right back.
Andy.
Right.
All right.
So, Ken, we're honored also to have you on the air. You're the CEO of TopTalkRadio.com, and you've given us an honorary board of director status, Yoda and Backpack. We're looking to have such a mutual great relations in the months and years to come. It's been a great connection with you. So one of the things also that has been making news lately is all these terror camps and the Sharia law, and getting back to the main topic, where do you see all this going? We do have some really good leaders that I do like the Greg Abbott, who's the governor of Texas, who is just newly elected. We have some hope. So one of the things we like to do also is talk about solutions, and we have servant leaders that are out there doing their best. Who are some of the people that you've seen on the news that are doing things and making changes and really helping prevent these terror camps?
I mean, there was a Tennessee governor, the one you mentioned in Texas comes to mind, but the Tennessee governor, I can't remember his name. I made a little mini doc about 4 years ago, but it slips my mind, but it was called Just Say No to Sharia. And he was trying to make Sharia outlawed. And I think it was basically a failure in the end, but it's anybody who has power who makes any kind of move whatsoever to end this, and just black and white, that this is wrong, it's done, it's illegal, it should be outlawed. And anybody who takes any action whatsoever in that direction is a hero. And they shouldn't be considered a hero. It should be what they do anyway, by the way. But today, it's like the service contractor today. You hire a plumber or electrician. Hey, if they show up on time, guess what? It's amazing, isn't it? It's like we shouldn't be having these feelings like, wow, the guy showed up, like he did what he's supposed to do, didn't rip me off. But, there's still people out there that don't rip you off, and they show up on time. Just like our leaders. Hey, we shouldn't be commending them for this. This should be their job. They should just do it and know we want them to do it. Just do what's right.
Keying to something you said earlier in this program, why is it so silent out there? These bastards are routinely stoning women to death because they drove a car. All these other barbaric atrocities that have gone on since the year 700. The Shia and the Sunnis have been fighting each other for 1,354 years. The Janorama founding editor-in-chief of the Magnified View says, quote, "We, the United States, are simply in the way over there." Well, that's God's truth, isn't it? That's the way it's turned out in Iraq. Ridiculous Afghanistan. Why aren't the American people outraged? Where the hell's women's lib with this, Ken?
We're going to take a short break, and we'll answer that question and more with Ken Kaplan, TopTalkRadio.com. This is Backpack. We want to tell you about a brave American hero. Retired Major General, United States Army General Paul Vallely. Stand Up America US.org is a network of patriotic Americans. Stand Up America USA collects, analyzes, and evaluates intelligence safety of America. Over to you, Yoda.
A bit esoteric, a bit. The good general back in the day, in the army, and have a ranger been to ranger school. You were thought of a leader and killed a career. The good general Valley somehow did a ranger school also was a jump master. Somehow he was savvy and leader enough to overcome the stigma of the old Pentagon. He's one of the top 10 of 47 retired alive in the United States now. We salute the good general. Thanks, Backpack.
Again, check out AmericaUS.org, and we're back with Ken Kaplan and Top Talk Radio. Ken, let's go ahead and get your feedback on the last question.
Feedback on the last question. Give me the question. Give me the question. I'm sorry. I can't call.
Well, we're talking about Sharia and the barbaric thing, and how it's just an outrage that all our politicians, or if you want to call them servant leaders, they all have to swear to the United States of America Constitution. They're not swearing an oath to Sharia. But so how are they getting away with all these cells around the United States doing Sharia when these politicians should really be held accountable as well to allowing Sharia when it should be the Constitution. This is what America is all about, right?
It's outrageous. I think Yoda was talking about the silence. He was surprised and wondering what's up with the silence business. And he's right because the silence is golden. I mean, are they just saying go ahead and do what you want to do? I mean, the PC thing to do, good thing to do, and they are getting away with this stuff. And there's not enough people getting up to bat and just speaking out. What are they so afraid of? I do not understand the lack of outrage. Like Yoda said. Where is outrage? Why so much tolerance? What's up with this tolerance? I just don't get it. We're Americans. This country isn't a welcome anybody to come in. And we have to immediately adjust to their style and their cult, whatever it is. We're supposed to be so loved. We want it so much to make everyone feel like country's not here for them. It's not here for them to come here. Do whatever the heck you want to do and change us, and then create all these problems internally with us. It's just outrageous situation. We just need to speak our mind. If you don't like us, fine. Just go back home. If you like us, great. We like you too. You know. But just don't come here and just try. And they're getting away. Our leaders aren't taking enough action. They're so afraid of being criticized by the media on CNN, MSNBC, all these left rag cable outlets. They're so afraid of what this guy's name. He's such a just criticism like George W. Bush. He didn't do a lot of things. Everything he said was so under the microscope. And it's like, God, just say what you want to say, do what you want to do, and the hell with the media. But the lamestream gets the better of them. Just don't do it. Say what you want to say. Forget criticism. Let them do what they're going to do. Destroy you anyway. Just do what's right. We know what's right. Just take it. You're going to get it. But just do it. And that's why you're there.
My heritage is England. Father and grandfather came here from Father's World War, American Army. I've spent a lot of time in England. There are now more than 100 Sharia courts. They're supposed to be civil. Meaning like civil disputes are criminal. Actually, they're both. You can't have Sharia only civil. There are 100 so-called courts in and around London, Birmingham, and Manchester. How can they tolerate that in my merry old England count? And it's happening here. It's happening in Dearborn. Ford Motor. Anyway, is now operating on functional Sharia. How the hell can this happen? How did it happen in Holland today? In Paris. You know, they're Paris. These neighborhoods around Paris are populated. You can't go. No go zone.
We do have a mutual friend to Dearborn, Michigan. It's become 45% Muslim from Somalia, which really isn't a country. We'll talk more about future episodes. That many countries that are declared on the news really aren't countries, but unknown to her. She's 2 miles of the whole Sharia law, and she talks a lot about that. She's one of our friends. She just didn't know. She didn't have the information, and all of a sudden she's shocked. Here she is in the heartland of America, and that's one of our on Terracom that we identified Dearborn, and there's an area near there called Coldwater, which is more rural, where all these areas are growing by leaps and bounds. One of the things that came to my mind was President Barack Hussein on that cold 2009 January day, he swore allegiance to Sharia law. He didn't swear allegiance to the Constitution. I guess that's a reality. he is Sharia law, not a constitution. And speaking in general to all these countries around the world, swear an oath to the Constitution, and there should be no other law than the Constitution of the land that the country's in. So what are your thoughts about that? Isn't that I brought up a point I don't think any shows that talked about the oath President Hussein swore to Sharia. What do you think about that, Ken?
It's another outrage. These laws are shrouded in the premise of religion, and it's not a religion. It's a cult. It's an army. It's a civilization. Basically, what it is. They want to be the entire world, and getting away by calling it a religion. Everywhere all over the world. Holland. I mean, gosh. How could they just supersede their own constitutions, their own republics, democracies. You can't do that. And you made a great point because they're still. In other words, they're going to permit them to stone them to death, showing her feet or whatever, her legs. That's Sharia law. Stealing the chop the fingers, break the hand. They're going to permit this stuff. This is crazy.
Right, I hear you. And we do have some good news along that area. We just learned that the country of Norway has just declared recently that they've deported all of the Muslims, vast majority, and their crime went down 30%. Have you heard about that, Ken?
I heard a tweet on that. Great news. Spain. I think I told you about the story I saw. Spain had an old Coliseum built 1,000 years ago. Who knows how long ago? Forever. And bullfighting arena. And the mosque was. They were going to plans of making it to a mosque, and it was outrageous. Citizens there were protesting it. There was some fights, a lot of uproar about it. Somebody threw a half pig head on the property, and in their Quran it says cannot build a mosque on soiled land, and they soiled the pig head, and it stopped. And by the way, lately they've been turning them right around without process, rejecting them, North Africa, and which is another good, little by little. I mean, the PC stuff disappearing here and there. There is some good news every now and then coming out.
Exactly. And what we're hearing is what happened Charlie Hebdo and those 12 journalists and cartoonists that are practicing speech. They were murdered. 5 editors and staff. 12 were just gunned down brutally. And that's the 9/11 that we're hearing. And that's really brought an outrage. There was a march with 3.7 million people, and the only country was the United States that didn't send anybody over. Sent ambassador to France. We had no high level presence there. But all the other high level leaders from the free world were there. What are your thoughts about that, Yoda?
One of my current irritations. Every time we release Gitmo, back they go to some hellhole, and there are huge celebrations in the street, thousands. Welcoming their heroes, but we continue to try to close Gitmo. The last with our hooking up with Cuba, absolutely absurd, of course, is the United States paid $4,000 for the lease on Gitmo. What the Obama nation trying part of the Cuba thing is he will miss on the freaking leave. Cubans will kick us out. He's managed to Gitmo. Ken Kaplan, the wonderful conservative talk radio rectory. What the hell passion to release these terrorists back to kill us, Ken?
Oh boy, it's insanity. I mean, there's just no end. I mean, I don't know where to begin on it. I mean, Sharia law. They made some moves now. And the Gitmo thing. They should be held responsibly. These criminals get released. And Obama's no chess player giving away 5 general equivalents for one individual. But getting back to the Sharia thing, his court case is being fought out throughout the country, and which is good. We're standing up, we're fighting for what's right. Muslim groups are fighting back, stalling all these bills that can basically pretty much regulate the extent of Sharia they get. So they're trying to get watered down. They're doing the right thing. But it's not happening fast enough. And they're fighting. They want this more than anything. They're just begging for this. You get a few of these in a few cities. Before you know it's going to be all over the country everywhere. It's going to be another country within a country.
I get up. We all get up. Group of you do. We're gonna have a good day. We're gonna make somebody else's day. Pretty simple philosophy. Assume responsibility. We make choices. There's consequences. There are 22 million veterans in the United States with family. There are untold local coppers, state coppers, firefighters, EMTs. At some point, I truly believe bad enough. I don't know what bad enough. But at some point, the good guys are going to stand up and we will prevail. All of our generation, since we landed here, has been faced with apparent insurmountable problems, like the Second World War. That your dad and I occupied. I get a kick out of small world. Anyway, I have that the good guys like Ken are going to stand up and make it right. So
Amen, brother.
My word. What's it going to take to get everybody's attention? That's what bothers me.
And for how long will it keep that attention?
Yeah. I'm going to say a quick word about gun engagement, which I'd like to cover in the next show. I've wandered a bit tonight over the key topic, which we're going to need to address soon. That's Ken Cap on exposure of these terrorists. Anyway. People out there seem to think they're sitting there 22 single-shot long rifles that a SWAT team is going to come and take their gun away. No, that's not how it works through history. What they do in Mexico, they make it harder and harder to get guns and ammunition as today in the United States. Thank you, Obama. Then they impose more severe penalties as exists in Mexico. A 22 caliber bullet, Mexico will get you 7 years. So really what happens? People then run to turn their guns in. That's how confiscation works. Back to India, turning in swords, free history. Really where martial arts starts. Anyway. So that's a silhouette, an outline, cameo, thumbnail, backpack, taken away from it.
Well, our call lighting up. We got a couple calls here we're going to take. We got area code 626. Would you go ahead and please speak your mind, ask questions? Area code 626.
You are on air.
You're on air with us.
Okay.
Well, we got one more here.
All right.
We're always glad to have callers. Caller at 575. Please speak your mind and ask questions.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. You hear me okay?
Thanks for calling in. We hear you. Yeah. Go ahead and speak your mind, please.
I just wanted to say, I served as a reporter for Deadspin during the conflict in Iraq. I went over there, and I saw firsthand what was going on. First off, I just wanted to say, when we went over there, we were giving a lot of humanitarian aid to the people, some water, food. All the things that they requested, and they had the weirdest request. It was, I swear, all the people requested. We didn't have it. It was the strangest request. They all requested Howard Stern's penis.
Well, we never know what colors are going to do. But so anyway, we're moving on to the topic of the show. We're with Ken Kaplan, talkradio.com. Ken, let's go ahead and we're getting about 12 minutes left. What are some of the takeaways that you'd like our audience to hear?
Our takeaways are A, don't be afraid to speak your mind. B, put pressure on local officials and tell them do the right thing and try not to be so correct and so loving of everything and accepting of everything. It's okay to defend your country. A lot of people died for all this freedom. Just sit back, and permit it. And pressure the media to change and reform. The media is the cause of everything. We wouldn't even be talking about this tonight. We have no idea. It could be such a beautiful, magnificent country being destroyed by the media. They are creating everything. They could turn the world's opinion around against this enemy. In overnight, if they just spoke the truth instead of their agenda, propaganda, and PC. It's really not complicated solution. It's complicated how to achieve it. How you go about reforming entire mainstream media. It's almost impossible.
Yeah, one of the things to point out, Ken, as we all know, is that about 1,500 major mainstream media sources, but they're controlled by six corporations, and part of Voices of Global Freedom Radio, GlobalFreedomRadio.com, and MagnifiedView.com is the news that the mainstream media is not showing. So it's interesting that six corporations control the mainstream media. What are your thoughts, Yoda, about that?
That brings me back to the information we have open source and from our whistleblower and our private stunning sources. We're asking everyone to be prepared. Get some medical stored away. Get some beans and get some water stored away in the event you'll be affected by the terrorist attacks here in the United States. Police are being laid off across the land now because of the economy. So the first thing cities do, like communism, they lay off parks workers. They lay off so they're undermanned today. Cops, firefighters, and EMTs are affected by disasters personally also. So in addition to not enough of them, many of them won't be able to respond. I promise you, with enough disasters, audience will be on your own. 9/11 isn't going to work for you. So please don't talk about it like people do, but stock the basic stuff away. I mean, you don't have to be all crazy and a man for devoting your life. You need to be prudent to carry yourself and your family, protect them for a while anyway. Nowhere on earth is immune to a natural disaster. Look at the last blizzard recently in Boston and elsewhere. And we're becoming more and more in terrorist disasters. So I'm requesting the audience, please stock up in at least minimal fashion. I promise you, with enough of incidents, terroristic or natural, you're not going to get the kind of response would like to have, because you're not. So you're going to need to be self-sufficient. Thanks, back.
Yoda and I are working on a series of seminars looking to roll out survival, and we'll be talking more about what people can do. We got another caller here. Let's see where it's going to go. This area code 650. Please speak your mind.
Bubble boy, Howard Stern.
Okay. Well, we got some jokesters on the line here.
I'll bet it's juvenile.
Yeah. Some 12-year-olds grabbed the phone.
We'll start screaming. It's fun anyway.
Yeah.
What were you telling me about who walked into a bar back then?
Well, there was three people that walked into the bar. Communist, Islamist, and a Muslim, and socialist. And what the bartender said to them was, "Hi, Mr. President." So that's one of our from today. Look at who we're dealing with. Who swore supposedly on the Bible and the Constitution 2009. As we know, he's been there, and we've got a countdown clock on TalkTalkRadio.com, and when he's out of here, and that's an exciting thing. We got Ken Kaplan, CEO of TalkTalk Radio. Ken, what are all the ways that our listeners can find you?
Info, TalkTalk Radio. Head over to TalkTalk Radio, contact tab, and you've got it. And feel free to. The website takes a lot of upkeep to keep it current. If you see a mistake, feel free to write in. Show hosts change their times off. Not easy. Keep on top of all contact. Make contact, and adjustments needed. Just trying to do my best in current and updated. Relevant, and labor almost a job, second job, which is time for it. But one day, helping maybe you'll get bought out by some good guy corporation. You're going to probably controlling this backpack when I throw it in the towel, and it's got to be left secured hands.
It's an honor for us to work with you, and it's a great thing. We've been working together for a while since 2014. One of the things that differentiates you got on air lights, and you've got so many different people, and we're honored to have Global Freedom Radio, Sean Hannity, Rush Limbaugh. Would you like to talk about your carpet cleaning as well? People can find you, your website, and find out more.
Sure. If you're in Atlanta, driving through the city, auto clean seats, headliner, feel free to give us a call. It's pretty reasonably priced, and it's an industry filled with charlatans. It's just ruined by these people, and so I'm just one of those guys. The owner doing it himself. So I'm not gonna feel need. I'm not gonna push extras, and I don't promise magic water and all this hype that's going on. With zero red, basically a drain cleaner. What it is. So you'll be having non-toxic. If you want to go over to Dirt Blasters, like the page. That always helps. And Dirt Blasters, any kind of social media support, likes or shares. That's always beneficial. And that goes for you too. I mean, magnify you and your radio site, all the sites and everything. Just if you're a fan or who's involved, just tweet, share, support, your brother any way you can. It's not about popularity. It's about getting so you get enough likes, you get to page one on Google. That's what it's about. They like that. They like to see popularity for us, but not discovered. So DirtBlasters.com, not Dirt Blasters, and then TalkTalk Radio, of course. Always suggest a host wrong. Let me know. Or if you want to write an article, that'd be great. Blog, whatever it is you want to do. I'm all ears. An open book for you.
Well, my hat's really off to you, backpack. We're going to devote your next show with us to the wonderful job you've done exposing those terrorist camps. We're coming up with an artifact. He's an editor at large of the magazine as well. Exposing these damn camps. We want to get you back. And I'll have a little self-discipline in this show. We can address that exclusively. We're going to run it as a series on MagView.com. We need to get soon, brother. Really lit up the board. The emails are just in favor.
Yeah, they are. We've got one solution too. What are you hearing about Rotterdam over in Europe? What did the mayor do recently, and how did it bring about quick solution?
I love this. The mayor of Rotterdam in the Netherlands, speaking Dutch, of course, addressed the Muslims, and he After a little speech, ask them to get the word out of
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great.
I'm fluent in a couple other languages, which isn't really that much like, but I read it in Dutch, and I couldn't figure out what the F word was. I finally figured it out. Good for Yay, Mayor.
So we are hearing good news. People are making differences and standing up. We just want to hear more. United States American politicians, servant leaders. We can talk more about the different leaders and politicians. But to really stand up to the Islamic threats. And one of our friends, Pamela Geller, she's done a lot. She's some of the compounds. And when you go to them, they'll be shooting mannequins, and they'll be shooting buses, and they have their bomb belts on. You'll see them. And this is right here in the heartland of America, whether it's Dearborn, Michigan, or Sweeney, Texas, California, all the way to Islamberg, New York, their corporate headquarters, Muslims of America, Muslim Brotherhood, or also known as CARE. We've just got about a minute, 40 seconds here. We got Yoda here.
I track back our nuisance caller. I'll be calling him about every 15 minutes now. I'll put it on a global, put it on a robot. All right. Can we sincerely and mightily great show, brother.
Yeah, it was a great show.
It's an honor, guys. And you have great guests. Funny that I'm even on your show. With these heroes coming on, these brilliant people like 10 hour on the phone. So hats off to you guys for having a great lineup. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about heroes that got on here. I'm looking forward to that man that went to North Korea. I love it.
You're high on our hero list. You're doing it well. You do it well.
You too,
Thank you so much, Ken. It's been an honor. It's great working with you. We'll have you back. Thank you, and thank you to all the listeners. You too. Have a great night.